Welcome, to welcome Lat Gold, Emmanuel, Antonio, Pearl, and the rest. Okay, I can see people joining in. Olumide, Mary, you're welcome. The program is going to start fully, commence fully a few minutes from now. Good evening. You can make use of the chat box. Drop emojis, drop. And just so you know, this event is currently streaming live. So for those of us, try to mute yourself, please. Emmanuel, good evening. Thanks for joining. Let's try to mute ourselves. Okay, so this is 5 minutes past 5. It's a wonderful evening, and this is the evening for scholars. You're welcome to the Scholarship Expo webinar, and this is the webinar where, trust me, your evening is so going to be inspirational and motivational, trust me, because we're going to be sharing a lot of free information.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Toby.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Toby. You're welcome.
Hello.
Kindly mute yourself. You're welcome. Okay, so the instruction of the day, I feel I need to give out instructions since this is a free stuff. It's not easy. Usually you get to pay for stuff like this, but we're giving it out to you guys for free. So please, decorum is highly important. Please, let's try and make sure we have a pen and a book with us to take note of important information, because important informations like this are things you come across just once in a while. These are people who are experienced, that they're sharing their vital information with us, which is why it's called Expo, because we love expos, right? So try and make sure you have something to jot down and note your questions, the ones you've had before you joined and the ones you'll be having during the program. So try and note your questions and just drop it in the chat box. I am going to make sure I get those questions before we get to the question and answer session. And this program is going to hold for 2 hours. And we promise not to waste your time, because I mean, we're scholars. We need to differentiate ourselves, right? And our speakers are definitely busier, probably, than us. So we wouldn't want to waste their time too. So once again, I'm going to welcome every single one of you for finding out time to join us in this Scholarship Expo. And to start this program, this webinar, I'm just going to, of course, you guys might be dying to know, okay, what's this about? I mean, we are not here by probably by juju or so. We definitely join because we know what it's all about. And we understand that there are a series of problems that serious scholars like you and I encounter, right? Like we're trying to jackpot, that's the word. You're trying to leave the country, probably because the education system is not cool enough and stuff like that. Imagine 60% ASU Wahala and stuff like that. You want to progress. We are all scholars here, right? So because of this problem that we encounter, which ranges from identifying the scheme that fits your profile, right, or knowing the productive steps to take and getting correct information about your desired scheme, etc. So through this seminar, right, that is this evening, what we aim to provide for you is dedicated scholarships to you guys who are dedicated scholarship seekers, is with reliable information on Erasmus-Mundus, Mastercard, and Commonwealth scholarship, right? And also to provide you with further avenue for mentorship. So we're not just giving you the information, we're going to give you We're promising you mentorship. We're promising you great resources. And the focus of this program is, of course, the scholarship prospects who needs information, right, to begin the journey. Probably you're already in the middle of the journey, or you just want to get started. And also those who have started the process but need further information and mentorship on how to be successful. And most importantly, undergraduate students who aims to equip themselves with information that can help them start early. So, well, irrespective of the age, you're most highly welcome. And the results you're going to be getting after this, trust me, it's still going to be amazing, because you get to network with the speakers directly. They get to mentor you. You get to have legit information, right? You know, at times we get to read about, we just go on internet, how can I gain scholarship into studies and that, and it's just information. And those information could be put out there by just random people. I mean, I'm a writer myself. I can just decide to write something attractive, and you guys do the, wow, okay, let me do the steps. But you don't know whether or not they are legit. So these speakers, they are here to tell you guys legit information. And we love Expo. Is there anyone, please, I wouldn't want this to be a bit boring. So let's make use of the chat box. For those who are just joining in, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, right? So let's just make use of the chat box. You put in emojis there. Is there anyone that's ever done Expo here? I mean, we're scholars. We don't, are you always excited about Expos? We have our brains. Do we need to be bothered about Expos? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever done that before. I don't know about you guys, but enough of the ranting. Thank you very much for joining us. So we have three amazing speakers, right? And they are going to be feeding us this evening with the information we need, because that's why we registered, right? So we need those information, we need those expos, free of charge expos, and we're excited about that. But before we proceed to start listening to these expos from them, we have in our midst one of our partners who's also a scholar, and he goes by the name Mr. Chima Akpan, who's a final year student at the Federal University of Technology in India. But aside from the fact that this amazing man, should I call him man? Yeah, sure. He's definitely a big man. In fact, aside from the fact that he's a 500 level student, he's also a pioneer of a very, very, very good organization. Yeah, it's actually a foundation called the Stone Foundation, and the foundation is geared towards the dissemination of academic information and opportunities for undergraduates, masters, and PhD scholarship. So they do a lot of great things, but the main thing there is the pursuance of the SDGs, most importantly, the United Nations SDG Goal 4 for undeterred access to quality education by 2030. So he's going to be giving us a very brief welcome remark. Mr. Chima David Akpa, are you here with us? Can we please have you?
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Aisha. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be in the session today. As Aisha rightly said, my name is Chima Akpa, and of course, still a student and then a very good pioneer of the prestigious Heston Foundation. It's a very great privilege to be here, because I remember billionaire Chuck Frenny, he said something. He said people must define themselves or feel a responsibility to use some of their assets to improve the life of their fellow humans, or else create intractable problems for future generations. So I want to welcome all of us today, partnering with the Scholars Forum. It's a nice idea. We thank you guys for bringing this up to help us. Like I told Sir Israel, we will even at least in the future, we'll have an in-person session. I'm speaking because I'm a student of Futmina, so we'll have that also in Futmina campus, possibly as spreading the wings to other campuses. So as a welcome remark, I want to wish everyone who comes here to just like she said, have your writing material. And then the most important thing about this is a mentorship platform. I've not seen this before We've held sessions and seminars before where, people come, they speak, and they allow you to go on your own. But then after this, we'll have an opportunity to be mentored. So it's quite a lot of privilege, and we are not paying for it. So I really appreciate that. And I would like to say we should just sit back and enjoy the time and write together with the facilitators. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chima Akpa. There's actually something, before I start introducing the speakers we have here, disclaimer. The good thing about it is the fact that they all have something in common. Well, aside from the brain, obviously, I mean, that's why they are scholars. It's not easy for you to get a scholarship, right? So they're all scholars. These are the people that they don't need expo before entering the hall. The brains are hot. As much as everyone listening to this brain is actually hot, we're all scholars. I used to say this set of people are scholar factoria. That's like times of it. So there's one thing they all have in common, and it's the fact that they are all either alumni or they've passed through Federal University of Technology, just a disclaimer, including myself. So this is more like a FUT thingy. So if you're not a FUT, if you're not a FUT student, that is FUT MX, then well, you're still welcome, obviously. But I'm not trying to boast or anything. It's actually a good thing, and we are proud to have this set of people pass through the great school. And for those who are UNILAG students, UI students, and the like, so pass through those ones. No competition though, but it is what it is. All right, so we are going to continue the program by me trying to introduce our guests, our scholars in the house who will be feeding us with vital information. And once again, please try and make sure you have your pen and book with you. As much as your brain is hot, so you still need to pen something down. And again, your questions, the questions could come up while the speaker is saying something. Just drop it on the chat box. I'm going to make sure I note it. Although the question form was shared alongside to you guys via email, but we've received the questions of those who sent. But even if you've sent your question and you still have something to ask along the program, then just kindly drop it before we get to the question and answer section. So thank you very much. Now I am going to start the introduction of our guest, starting from these three individuals, amazing minds. They also started this, as in this webinar. They are also the pioneer of it too. So it's a great thing. You get to listen from the founder's perspective, the scholar's perspective, an advocate's perspective, and the likes, which is a great thing. So I'm going to be starting with Mr. Israel Ayomide Feintola. He loves technology in caps, no doubt, and he believes in the problem-solving capabilities of technological innovations. But beyond that, he's more interested in human capital development it offers. His career objectives lies at the intersection of being a great technological innovator and a superb manager that improves the quality of life through the application of technological innovation. He is a recent awardee of the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship for postgraduate study in management and information system, change and development tenable at the University of Manchester. And he works as a network surveillance specialist with IHS Towers. In a few years' time, he hopes to become an exceptional business executive and innovator who will not only manage technological innovations, but also help people. His domain specializations are wireless communications, management, and information systems and IT service management. If Mr. Israel is here with us, I just want him to just kindly mute himself and say hi to the participants so we can hear the voice of the great man himself.
Hi, everyone. You're welcome, and I'm happy to see everyone here. Asha, thank you, sir. Thanks for the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Israel. You can see our speaker is not here joking. See his nice smile and everything. With everything, he has the brain and all of that, and he's going to share with us. That's so amazing. Thank you very much, Mr. Israel. All right, so I'm going to moving on to the next male speaker. I use the word male but don't see it as anything like I'm a feminist or so. Well, I could be though. But all right, so he goes by the name Mr. or should I say Sir Abraham Oluwatobi. So Mr. Abraham is a doctoral researcher at the Hanover Medical University in Germany, where his research resonates around the pathogenicity of newly emerging viruses. So earlier this year, he completed his MSc degree in infectious disease and One Health under the Erasmus-Mundus scholarship. Aside from this scholarship, Abraham is a recipient of other prestigious scholarships, including the HBRS scholarship in Germany, a university fellowship at the American University of Cairo, Egypt, and Professor Garba's Prize for the Best Graduating Student at the Federal University of Technology. Mina, yeah, this is a small but mighty short profile of Mr. Abraham Oluwatobi. Mr. Abraham, if you're here with us, can you kindly just say hi to the listeners?
Yeah, thank you so much, Aisha. And hello, everyone. It's nice to be here, and it's a pleasure to share my experience today about securing a scholarship across the globe. I hope you guys will have a good time today, and you are going to enjoy and also be greatly impacted by what we are going to share with you today. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Definitely looking forward to that. I mean, are you guys hearing him already? He's ready. These speakers are ready for you guys. I'm so getting ready on my pen and paper. So hope you guys are also with your notebooks and pen to jot. All right, so the last speaker I'm going to be introducing, this one is a woman, I mean a lady rather, a very fine lady with brain. I mean, she has the beauty and the brain, and this is so amazing. You know, when they say a woman is on fire, something like that, yeah, she's a strong woman. And I've been able to be under her. Yeah, she's mentored me, and trust me, it's a very good experience. So she goes by the name Miss Adiza Yusuf, pardon, and she is an ardent mathematician on the journey of becoming a machine learning engineer with over 2 years of experience working in research, IT education, project management, and people administration. She studied mathematics at the same Futmina, Nigeria. After undergraduate studies, she worked as a research assistant at the Advanced Engineering Innovation Research Group as a high school programming teacher with Marion IT Limited and as an e-tutor at the Center for Open Distance E-Learning, Futmina, amongst others. Presently, Ms. Adiza is a Mastercard Foundation scholar studying a master's in engineering artificial intelligence at Carnegie Mellon University, CMU, Africa. She hopes to develop a career in academia as a researcher. This is our future professor. You're welcome, Ms. Adiza. Is Ms. Adiza here on the call?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic. Thank you so much, Aisha. I'm grateful. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Adiza. So that's it from I mean that's just a very, we don't want to dive into, because if I'm to start saying the great things that these individuals have worked on, I don't want to waste your time with that. So all in all, overall, you know they are capable people, right? You guys are in capable hands this evening. So once again, welcome to those who are still just joining in. This is the Scholarship Expo webinar, and you're welcome to the Expo webinar. So you know, anytime we're doing anything Expo, we have to stay hidden, and this is a free something, right? So let's all try to pay attention. I remember your questions, take note of them. All right, we are going to commence this with the first speaker. Drum rolling is the drum rolling. So the person is going to go first is no other than Mr. Abraham. So he's going to be telling us the whole experiences, his experience, how to go about this, how to make it successful, and all of that. So Mr. Abraham, can you have the floor while I try to share my screen here?
Okay. Thank you so much, Aisha. Maybe I should share my screen. I think that's more better.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Works.
Thank you. So can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So once again, everyone, you are welcome to today's webinar. And my name is Abraham, as I've been rightly introduced. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my own experience. So that's why I titled it Empirical Strategies for Winning the Erasmus-Mundus Scholarship on the First Attempt. This title, I came up with this title because I only applied for the Erasmus-Mundus Scholarship at once, and I got it at once. But then you should know, before these first attempts, there have been several rejections from other scholarship applications that I've already put in. But one way or the other, I missed out on them. But when it comes to the Erasmus-Mundus Scholarship, I only submitted a single application and I got in. So today I will be sharing with you my experience during my application process, and also how you too can replicate the same step, or how you can replicate the same strategies for you to become the next recipient of this prestigious scholarship. And also to maybe kind of a testimony with you today, one of those people that I shared this strategy with messaged me like 1 hour ago. I was still in the train on my way back home when I received a kind of message on WhatsApp telling me that he recently got a fully funded scholarship in South Korea. Of course, he's also from the Federal University of Technology, Minna. And so this is just to tell you that it might not be necessarily an Erasmus-Mundus scholarship that these strategies are going to work for, but as well, it's cut across other scholarships. So with that being said, what's the Erasmus-Mundus scholarship? It's a joint master's program organized by the European Union. And the good thing about the Erasmus-Mundus scholarship is that it is not just available for those in sciences alone. In fact, according to the Erasmus-Mundus itself, it's a master's opportunities for all. And if you go to the website and to the catalog, there are about 171 master's programs available. So with this, it's going to be very difficult for you or for anyone not to find a program that is related to their background. I mean, 171 master's program. So I don't know what you studied that is not going to cut across any of these 171 degree programs. So because of this, it should provide a kind of win-win opportunity for everybody, especially those who are in arts, who study art courses. I mean, like mass communication and journalists or journalism and the likes, history and African studies and other literatures and whatever, who always complain of that they are not funding or scholarship opportunities for non-STEM students. So I think Erasmus-Mundus is here to provide opportunity for everybody. So the theme of the scholarship is majorly research-based. So because of this, it's going to impact the way you are going to write your motivation letter and your SOP. Most Erasmus-Mundus program will provide you the opportunity for you to go for internship, where you are going to write your thesis at the end of your program. So normally, you are going to be trying to solve a kind of problem during your master's thesis. Although there are some programs that don't have or do not provide internship opportunity, but most of the programs provide internship opportunity. So this is what I'm trying to say. And when you are writing your SOP or your motivation letter, you need to demonstrate that you have the research skill or the research prowess that can make you a kind of a perfect fit or a candidate, a good candidate for the program. So this is not a need-based scholarship. And what I mean by this is you don't need to be emphasizing on your financial background and on why it should be chosen or be selected based on your financial background or based on the kind of challenges you've overcome to become who you are today. Majorly, you want to focus and demonstrate that you have the research skills and the research prowess that can make you to stand out. And Erasmus-Mundus is unique in its own, like it's a highly prestigious scholarship. Maybe I've not mentioned that before, but it's a joint master's degree program, meaning that you will be taught by at least 2 universities in 2 different countries, at least 2. I mean, the number of participating university might be up to 5, up 4, 3, but the minimum is 2. And after this program, you are going to be awarded a joint degree or at times 2 separate degrees. So it depends. At times you can also be awarded 3 degrees. It depends on the program. But the most important thing that you should know is that at least you are traveling to 2 countries during this program. And you are going to be taught by world-class professors and in world-class universities. So don't just think because there are many universities that are participating, probably you just think they just selected any university to participate. No. The universities that are participating in this program are highly ranked university in the world. Highly ranked university in the world. And the professors involved, believe me, they are experts and they are top-notch experts in the field. And another good thing about the Erasmus-Mundus program is that there is no age limit. Either you are married or you are single or you are whatever your age, there is no age limit. Marital status, ethnicity, religion, or whatever does not play a role. And like I said earlier, it is not a need-based scholarship. You are just demonstrating your ability to stand out and your ability to deliver when it matters most. And another thing is there is no clause of returning home. So there are some scholarships that you need to return back to your country when you are done. But with the Erasmus-Mundus scholarship, there is no clause like that. Once you finish your program and you are able to find something meaningful in whichever country you find yourself, definitely you can stay behind, pick up a job, go for a PhD, or find something else to do, which is really, really very important. And it's also a very a good thing and a bonus from that end. And lastly, this is the juicy part that I have not mentioned before. It is fully funded, including your health insurance, your flights, your installation fee. There's something we call installation fee, in which when you newly arrived to Europe, they are going to pay you a certain amount of money for you to settle in fully into the system, because it can really be difficult for new people or international students to settle into a new environment. So because of this, they are going to give you something like installation fee to enable you to settle properly into your environment and focus on your academic and on your research. And then you also have free mobility within the European Union countries. So with your Schengen visa or with your European residence permits, you can travel from one European country to another without anybody bothering you or disturbing you or harassing you for visa and immigration issues. And so to apply for this scholarship, normally there are different programs, like I said, around 171 MSc programs. So because of this, the application period slightly differs from one another. So, and one good thing you can do to know about the application procedure is I have a link on my screen. Maybe I will also share it in the chat button, but I plan to just show you a kind of step-by-step procedure on how you can submit application. So because of this, I will just click on this link to see if we can navigate through. Okay, so perfect. So clicking on the link, it brought me here. And then all you need to do when you are searching for a program, these are various master's degree programs that are available. And you can go through any.
Hello, Fedram. The new screen is not showing.
My screen is not showing. Hello?
I can actually see your screen. Probably it's a network from Israel's end.
No, we can see your slide, but we cannot see where you are working on, like the
Okay.
Erasmus side.
Okay, let's see. And now?
Okay, it's
Yes.
showing now.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I just clicked the link. I will try to share the link with you later. Maybe I don't know. I will just try to share it with you. Maybe I put it in the chat or whatever, so everybody have access to it. So if you just click on the link, it's going to bring you here. And according to the Erasmus-Mundus catalog, the 171 master's program are available. And you can just search for anything you want to search for. And the keyword, just press anything like the most important or the kind of relevant keyword to your background. Just type it in, then you click on search button, then you find the program of your interest. And if you look at it, if we take this as an example, it shows you are going to be spending your time in Czechia, Spain, and Finland, and another one like Latvia, Finland, and Estonia, and yeah, like this. So once you see okay, importantly, I need to tell you, if you want to apply for a program, you have to click on the link below and not the big one. So if you click on the link below, then it takes you to another place where you are going to submit your application and it's going to tell you about the program. I hope you can see this screen now.
Yes.
Hello? Okay, so yeah, so if you click on the link below, not the upper one, so it's going to bring you to a kind of website like this, and you can see there are different, whatever the information is there. Make sure you read the information, go through all the details, don't jump, because by the time you are just trying to have a kind of quick read through, you are going to miss a lot of details, and you don't want this. So it's better for you to take your time to read through, and read about the program, read about those who are participating, read about how to apply, read about the contact, read everything, including the frequently asked question. This is going to help you to understand what is the requirement and how to navigate the application procedure and application steps. So let's go back to the PowerPoints I was sharing before. Okay, cool. So that's that about that. Now, I believe you can see my PowerPoints. Hello?
Currently, no.
No.
Okay.
It's visible now.
Okay, so cool. So what are the supported documents? Like I said earlier, there are different programs, and because of this, the requirements, the application deadline also slightly differ from one program to another. But then there are some things that are common to all of them because these programs are being regulated by the European education system. So because of this, some documents are non-negotiable. You need to have them for you to apply to any of this scholarship or to any of this MSc program. And mind you, you are not submitting different applications for the scholarship and for the admission. So once you are selected for the MSc program, you are going to be automatically considered for the scholarship. Although I need to also emphasize this, during the interview process, they are going to ask you, if selected, will you be able to fund your studies? So of course, I don't really think, okay, I know people who are able to fund these kind of programs on their own as self-funded students, but most people will not be able to do this. So you need to tell the truth, like, oh no, I won't be able to do this because of my background. But for you to have even gotten to the interview stage, it shows that you a worthy and a qualified person. But then in your SOP, you don't want to emphasize much on this. I hope this point is is clear. So what are the supporting documents generally? The first thing you need is you need your first degree certificates and also your academic transcript of records. So this is very important, especially for those who are in their final year who might be thinking, oh, the certificate is not available, but then you can also apply with your academic transcripts. And between the period of you waiting for the interview and for the admission, hopefully your first degree is going to be helped, and then you can submit the first degree. Don't forget that you use your transcripts tentatively. So the best thing to do is for you to get all your transcripts from 100 level, then to assemble them together, convert it into a PDF, into a single PDF, and then use it for your application. So by the time you finish and you have your first degree certificate, then you can easily submit it and replace it with the tentative document that you submitted at the initial stage. So this is very important for you to know. The another thing you need to have is your motivation letter. It's very important for you to write a good motivation letter. Don't forget that the Erasmus-Mundus is not how will I put it? Is not based on quota. There is no special quota for let's say for those coming from Africa or from Europe or from the US or from the UK. In my class, I have people from the US, we have people from the UK, we have people from Highland, we have people from all over the world. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is you are competing against everybody. There is nothing like, oh, you're only competing with those coming from Nigeria or with those coming from Africa or with those coming from Europe. Like the pool is opened for everybody. And most time they are only going to select between 20 to 21 people, and 15 of you will be funded. So the other 7 people are going to be self-funded students. So you also need to bear this in mind. So this is just to show you how competitive it is. So you want to put in your best. You want to put your strong foot forward when you are submitting your application. So because of this, you need to write a good motivation letter. So another thing that's also important is the recommendation letter. Trust me, your recommendation letter can make a huge difference. You don't want people who are going to be writing shallow and just random stuff about you. You want people who knows you, who can attest to your personality, who can attest to your passion, who can attest to your prowess, who can attest to your professional charisma, you know. So because of this, you really need to look for genuine people who really love you and wants you to become great in your career and in your field. Don't just go to any random person on the street or people who have little knowledge about you. So it's important because it can really, really make a huge difference. And another thing you need is the English proficiency certificate. This is a bit debatable because there are some programs that you don't need to submit the English proficiency certificates, but in most cases, you are going to be needing this test for you to get qualified. I remember one of my classmates back then, though she studied in the UK, she's a Nigerian, but she studied in the UK. She did a bachelor's in the UK, but then she got into the master's, but they did not give her. She was not awarded the scholarship until she provided the English proficiency certificate. So she needs to write, or she wrote what's the name, the IELTS back then again, for her to be awarded the scholarship. So what I'm trying to say is that in most cases, you won't be exempted. The fact that you're taught in English is not a good reason or a kind of exemption excuse or whatsoever it is for you to be excused from writing the English proficiency test. So you really need this. Yeah, so keep this in mind. Yeah, keep it in mind because so many people always argue about this, that I was taught in English, my courses were in English, this and this and this, but most of the time, this won't win. And I always like to emphasize it with people. You really need to show that you want this and you really need to give them what they want. And then another thing you need is your international passport. Of course, you are planning to travel out of your country. So because of this, you need your international passport. Then you also need your proof of residency. So the proof of residency is important. And to get the proof of residency, you just need to go to the High Court in your area. It's more or less like what we call, attestation, right? I think it's attestation they call it. So just go to any court in your area and tell them you need a proof of residency that you've been living in this area for the past 5 years, and just like an affidavit does, so then you sign it and you'll be able to present it. It's very important for you to have this. So if you don't have this, they won't consider your applications. Then the next thing is you need a CV. The CV that is applicable here is the Europass CV. I actually have a link for it, but I think because of time, I won't be able to go to the Europass website. But I will also share this this link with you, and then you can just click on it, create your Europass CV and download it, and yeah, you should be ready to submit. So additional documents, if you have publication, it's very good. And at times, I also need to say this, there are times that they will be asking you to make a video SOP of yourself. So please, when you are asked to make a video SOP of yourself, make a good video. This is not about the way you dress, the wig you put on, the makeup you make. I mean, this is more about the content in you rather than the way you dress. So you also need to be very audible to speak out loud, and if they ask for video SOP. Now, if, for example, you've been working as in kind of media houses or press or whatsoever, and you've published, let's say, maybe some news with maybe Daily Trust, Daily Sun, Tribune, or whatever newspaper source and outlets in Nigeria, yeah, you can include all this as your list of publications because they are allowed. Then you just need to be very clear on what they are. So, and another thing is, if you also have online certification courses, you can also use it as a kind of supporting document during your applications. Then it's also always good to volunteer. Definitely, you want to volunteer. You want to show that you are ready to contribute your quota to the development of humanity. I remember during my national youth service, most of the time I don't like sharing my personal experience, but I just want to say this. During my national youth service, after my NYC, I stayed back because there were not enough staffs in the laboratory where I worked at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. So I have to like stay back and help them. And most of the core members that we served together back then, they were really criticizing me, saying, "Oh, because you don't have direction in life, you don't know what to do." Everybody was, I mean, people were just saying different things. But I really, back then, my mind was fixed on what I want. So because of this, I was not moved. And guess what? When my HOD was writing a recommendation letter, I mean, she wrote everything like what I was not even expecting her to write. That's exactly what she put for me. And that's what got me both into my master's program and also into other scholarships that I've won over time. Then you also need award letters or certificates if you've won any award before, like best graduate student in XYZ, you want to put it here and show it during your application process. So I have a few take-home message for you. Early preparation is very good. Please try to prepare early. Start preparing now. Don't wait until the deadline before you start packing your application documents together. Please try to submit early. It's to start the preparation early. It's very important, especially in writing your motivation letter. You can't write a good motivation letter in 2 days or 1 day. Some people really want to do this. This is not good. So start writing early. And of course, you also need to network with like-minded fellows. And this is why we are here today. You are going to meet new people here, your friends, your colleagues, senior and junior and whatever. It's always good to network with people, to share with them, because the scholarship, hunting for scholarship, it's a bit tedious and it's a tiring one, but you really need like-minded fellows to share and bear this burden together. Don't forget, iron sharpens iron. Then you want to spend quality time writing SOP. I don't want to go over this again because I've mentioned it earlier. Your recommendation letter, I've also mentioned this earlier. Don't put all your eggs into just a basket. Keep applying, keep pushing. Even when you are seeing green light at the end of the tunnel, please keep applying. A lot can happen within a minute, within a second. So because of this, keep applying until the very end. And of course, once you have some kind of positive feedback, you really need to spend time preparing for the interview. It's always tricky. Reach out to people, reach out to scholars who are already in the program. Let them tell you the experience regarding the interview. And of course, I'm always available if you really want me to talk to you about once you get to the interview stage and you really need someone to prep you, I'll be available. And of course, don't forget, rejection does not mean you are not good enough. It just means you need to keep pushing. With this, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you very, very much, Mr. Ibrahim. I'm pretty sure the audience, I mean, they've learned a lot. Can we just give a round of applause? Although this is virtual, but I mean, there are emojis to use. Please, let's use reactions on the chat box. Let the speaker know he has done a great job, an awesome job in delivering this. He spent just few minutes talking about this, but trust me, he summarized it very well. You can make it off the chat box, just clap or show your appreciation. It's really going to be go a long way. Well, that's very good. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Abraham. He has said a lot. And I'm pretty sure when he was saying that part, the part that had to do with fully funded, I was like, okay, this should have come up from the beginning, because that's the reason why we're applying for the scholarships now. We are all excited about it, and it's all good. I mean, all expense paid stuff and all that. So I'm pretty sure we've made note of questions. I have written down a lot of things, especially the parts where he talked about which I felt like was a niche that's very important, because he spoke specifically about the way we had to write application for an Erasmus scholarship. It's not based on probably sympathy of you're struggling and all of that, but rather based on evidence of your research and all of that, and your willingness to learn and to do things related to research-based stuff. So it's not about you writing application. You're like, you understand? Although it's part of it, like you're struggling. Nigeria is not a good country. You want to jackpot and all of that. Thank you very much, sir. So this is just what was the time? It's not, it's just 5:50, and it's an amazing evening. So a link is going to be shared on the group. So that link is going to be a Google form. So you just drop your questions there if you have any question, and let's proceed. So the next speaker is a mighty woman, a professor. I cannot hear a professor, but of course she's already aiming to that goal. And she goes by the name Miss Adiza Yusuf, is going to be talking about the Mastercard scholarship. You're welcome, Miss Adiza. Miss Adiza, are you there? Your mic is muted.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Hello?
Loud and clear. No?
Yes. Sorry, having a little issue with my system. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let's put it as okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Aisha. Well done, Mr. Abraham. That was a wonderful presentation there. Yeah, so we are moving to the Mastercard Foundation aspect of the whole talk. Once again, I'm Hadiza Yusuf, and I'm studying engineering artificial intelligence. There's no need to go into that again. Aisha has already said a lot. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be going through this brief outline with us. I'll talk about the scheme, the MCS scholarship scheme, what they offer, the application procedure, the requirements, and then while talking about the application, I'll share a little of my experience. Yeah, so MCF, which fully means Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, is actually a global foundation also, and it is based in Canada, specifically in Toronto. And it was founded in 2006 by Mastercard Corporation, the same Mastercard, you know, the one you use ATM and all that, even though the Scholars Program operates independent of the corporation. Yeah, so the Scholars Program started around 2012. We just celebrated 10 years last month, and it has a special focus for sorry, hope everyone can hear me, just to be sure.
Yes, I can.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you. Yeah, so it has a special focus for African youth. Unlike Erasmus that Ibrahim told us about, is open to everyone. Mastercard kind of have a very, very special vision and focus for Africa. So that's a good one, I guess, because it's narrowed down. So, but even though it's narrowed down, that does not mean it's competitive. So that does not mean it's not competitive, I mean to say. Yeah, so it focuses on African youth, and it believes that in a world where everyone, it believes in a world where everyone can learn and prosper, and also be guided by core values like humility, like listening, like respect, like co-creation, creativity, impact. And from all these things I'm mentioning, you can see leadership in there. You can see leadership in there. So the vision of the Scholars Program is to create a network of talented African youth to study in reputable institutions and to drive change across Africa. So they have this recent 30 million goal where they seek to enable like 30 million young Africans, especially women, so that they can secure good and fulfilling work by 2030. So we can see that it's actually a program that has a good focus for Africa, wants to see change in Africa. So what does the program offers? First of all, it offers quality education. I mentioned initially that it looks into reputable universities. Yeah, actually partners with highly reputable institutions, just like Erasmus. Yeah, Mastercard is not left out. So it offers quality education to its scholars, and then it also offers financial support for every of your academic progress. As far as you're a Mastercard scholar, you get the benefit of maybe getting stipends monthly, other financial support to make sure your academics go smoothly without you stressing yourself and all that. So another thing it offers is training and mentorship. Wow, this is kind of distracting me, but anyways, so training and mentorship. So apart from being in a reputable school, apart from getting stipends and all that, another benefit you gain as a Mastercard scholar is that you are being trained in 21st century skills, in skills like most of these soft skills that industries and companies are looking out for, leadership, and then you're being mentored. It's compulsory for all scholars. So, and then it also offers a network of like-minded young leaders committed to giving back. So it doesn't just leave its scholars scattered abroad, scattered in all university. We have a connection, we have a platform where all scholars are part of, where we can communicate. Like now that I'm here in Rwanda, I can communicate with scholars from all around the world that are Mastercard scholars. Yeah, so there's that opportunity. You get to hear from other people's experience, how their school is, what they're experiencing, and all that. And I think that's a very good benefit for scholars. So like Abraham mentioned, some of the uniqueness of Erasmus is research. For Mastercard, it is more like creating entrepreneurial mindset amongst African youths. Yeah, that you are not just able to fit in the industry, you're not just fitting into academia, but you're also having an entrepreneurial mindset that you can stand on your own, you can set up a business, you can start creative, you can bring your creative ideas into reality in Africa. Yeah, so those are part of the things that they are looking at. So the application procedure. So I just decided to list some of the universities that Mastercard partners with. If you look at the list of universities here, you see that they are actually renowned universities. Most of them are in US, some of them are in US, some of them are in Africa. Now, I saw a question on the chat I'm not trying to answer the question, but I just want to bring you good news. Yeah, I don't know if Erasmus covers undergraduate level, but one thing about Mastercard is that it's not only a scholarship for master's program, but it covers secondary school, undergraduate level, and the master's level. Even though I would be focusing on the master's level, I wouldn't talk about the undergraduate and the secondary. So during the talk, we'll go to the site so that you see some of those schools. And if you're interested in the undergraduate or you have siblings or any connection that you would want to encourage to apply for this scholarship, you can channel them to the site. So these are some of the universities that Mastercard partners with. I know many of us have heard of Carnegie Mellon University. It's one of the top tech universities in the world. Yeah, but it has a campus in Africa. That's in Rwanda. That's where I am. So Mastercard partners with the campus in Rwanda, not the one in Pittsburgh. So if you apply to the one in Pittsburgh, that does not mean you get Mastercard scholarship, because just like I told you, Mastercard has a special focus for Africa. Yeah. So what are the general requirements? One thing I forgot to mention is that actually this institution that are listed here, all the institutions that are partnering with Mastercard Foundation, they are the ones that manage the recruitment and the selection of scholars. Yeah, not Mastercard itself. Unlike many other scholarships, Chevron and Erasmus and so on, that you do the application from their website. Here in Mastercard, all applications are done in the university's website, because the universities are responsible for recruitment, they are responsible for selection, and they are responsible for admission decision for students they admit. But we'll go through that during the course of this talk. So the general requirement for scholars, what they are expecting to see from any applicant, that's across every school now, because each school have their own requirements differently, but generally across every school, one thing they are keen about for you to be a Mastercard scholar is, first of all, your academic talent. They want to see that you are passionate about your schooling. They want to see that you are intentional. You for example, just like I said, I'm focusing on master's studies. You're applying for your master's. They want to see your undergraduate level. How well did you manage your undergraduate level academically? What were the things you were able to exhibit? Your GPA will show it. The activities you participated in while you were in school would be evidences to show that. Now, secondly, they are looking out for your leadership potential. Now, most of us, when we hear about leadership potential, we start thinking too deep, like, oh, must I be in one post or the other for them to see me as someone who has a leadership potential? Okay, surprisingly, no. And that's why they said potential. And potential means that you have it in you, even though you might not have maybe held a particular post or not. Funny enough, I never held any post while I was in undergraduate level. So they are looking at the things you do while in school, after school. What are the things you do? What is your mindset? So all that would be extracted from your application. So they're checking if you have the potential of becoming a leader. You have that thing in you. So the next thing they are checking out for is if you have demonstrated commitment to giving back. This is one thing Mastercard does not play with, because even as scholars, it is something that is mandatory that when you're giving the scholarship, you have to have projects. For example, my school, and it cuts across every school actually. So, but I'm using my school as a case study. So you have to present you have to have at least one give back project per semester. Yeah. So no matter the amount of semesters you're spending in the school, you have to complete a project. It could be more than one, but you have to complete a give back project. So before admitting you, before taking you as a scholar, they are looking out for that. How has been your voluntary activity? Abraham mentioned that, so I want to reemphasize. It will be good if you start looking out, whether you're in undergraduate, whether you're a graduate seeking admission for masters, start looking out for things you can do with your talent, with your hands, with whatever you have that might not require you being paid or all those things. Go try to volunteer for things. It's going to be very helpful to your portfolio. So they are looking out for people who are committed to giving back, and then also they give a kind of advantage to socioeconomic disadvantage. So what does that mean? People who are disadvantaged in the economy, people who are in a way deprived of these necessities that everyone have access to. You get it? They are looking out for people in the less represented, those that are less represented in Africa. Yeah, so those are also part of the things they are looking out for. So the application process. Yeah, like I told you before, Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program is partnering with a lot of schools, and those schools are responsible for selection of scholars. So the first thing you need to do is not to start looking for how to apply in Mastercard, but though you will start by going to the Mastercard site to check out the universities that they are partnering with, and to see which university you are interested in, those that are offering the courses you would like to apply to. So the first step in applying to Mastercard Foundation is to select a school. I'll take you to the site when I go over this slide, so that we'll close from there. So when you select a school, different schools have their different requirements. Yeah. So that's why you have to go to the school site. Though on the Mastercard Foundation site, they place the link of every school. In fact, even the deadlines. If the application process for any school is passed, they put the deadline there, it's closed or something like that. So you can check out for that, and then check the requirements for the school you are trying to apply to. When you check the requirement, that's when you know what you would need. But some of the requirements are what Abraham listed out for us: your transcripts, your motivation letter or personal statement, your academic CV, a recommendation letter, and maybe standardized exam. And if you see some of the schools, apart from the African schools, there are US schools. And if you're somebody that have looked into US schools before, you see that they take GRE very serious. Like, it's one of the things that most of US schools take as a requirement. So you might need to check if they require GRE. You might need to check if they require English proficiency exam score. Now, for my school, when I was applying, even now, because the admission process is going on right now, application is going on. The first deadline is in December. telling you, for those that don't know, the first deadline is in December 15th. So if you are able to apply as early as possible before the first deadline, then you have the opportunity to write the school's exam instead of submitting any GRE or English proficiency score. Yeah, that's the advantage you get. So I was able to submit early, though I wrote GRE anyways, but without GRE, you can still apply. That's the Carnegie Mellon University. I'm not talking for all school, I'm talking particularly for my school. So you can, if you are able to send in your application as early as possible, then GRE will be waived, English proficiency will be waived. They will pay for your English proficiency exam. For me, I wrote Duolingo. I don't know what this year's application exam would be, but Duolingo and then some technical tests to check your proficiency and all that. So if you're planning to apply to CMU, I would advise you try putting your application as early as possible. Yeah. So one thing that applicants always don't know is that you have the opportunity to always contact the admission committee, the admissions department for clarity. Sometimes we think some of those requirements placed on the websites are rigid, but the truth is that sometimes they are not rigid. So whatever you're not clear about, maybe they're asking you for some evaluations or so on, and you don't know what it is, you can always ask, you can always contact them. Their emails are open, you can always contact them for clarity. Yeah, and another thing is also very important, and Abraham mentioned that also, I'm just re-emphasizing, network with alumni, network with students. That's why we have social platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram and all that. Those platforms are not there for you to just flex and whatever, but it's an opportunity. It's a platform that gives you the opportunity to meet people also who have gone ahead. Yeah. So some of these people will give you guidelines on how they were able to do this. You get it? Yeah. So try to network with people. When you go on LinkedIn and you just search for something like Mastercard, you'll see those that were initially Mastercard students. And so, and then lastly, make sure you submit a mind-blowing application. Very important, because you have, even though is just Africa, forget it. A lot of people are applying. A lot of people are applying, and they wouldn't pick everybody. In fact, they don't even pick. Sorry, I'm getting feedback. I don't know if somebody's unmuted. Okay, let me continue. Yeah, so sometimes they don't even pick up to 10% of the applicants. Yeah. So you need to submit something tangible, something meaningful, something that when the reviewers read, they know that this person knows what he's talking about. And one very important thing that I did not put on my slide is plagiarism. I like mentioning that because my school doesn't joke with it at all. Yeah, some people, when they want to write their essay, they go online, copy, paste, copy this, paste, copy this, paste. Even if it looks like your own story, even if this person's experience is the same as yours, please don't copy and paste. Find your own self, write your own story, because this is the first thing they check. I don't know for other school or other applications, but this is the first thing they check. It passed through plagiarism, and then it is when your essay is qualified, no plagiarism, before they even look at it to read it. So many people's essays are being dropped because it was plagiarized. And that's not the end of it. When any essay is being dropped, they mark it out for any further application in subsequent years, which means that if your essay is found to be a content or somebody else's content, then you might not have the opportunity to ever apply again. Yeah, that's the downside of it. So I think that is all. If you have any question, just like Aisha said, write it down, and during the question and answer section, maybe there is something I might miss out. Okay, sorry. Aisha, do I still have time? So that I'll just...
No, you're actually on time though. Like you hit the spot. Thank you very much for sharing.
So let me just take us to the site just a minute, so that we'll see what the site looks like, and I'll also share the link. Yeah. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is a Mastercard Foundation website. So if you are interested in applying, you can just come here. There's no harm in reading what it's all about. Please read. Some of these things you read on the website helps you to know how to channel your essays, helps you to know what to even write in your essays. So you can see I told you secondary school also have the opportunity, so you can come here. This is not my focus. Undergraduates also, there are schools where you can apply to for undergraduate studies. And then for the master studies, these are also schools, different schools that you can apply to. So when you come to any school you're interested in, you just click on this plus sign and then you go to the site. You can read what they have there, and then you go to the site to take you directly to the MCF Foundation scholarship application site of the school. Yeah. So you can also go through the site, read what they have there. Um, Basically, they'll put in what they need, what they want to see from you. You can see what they support. Yeah, this is what the supports, and then the criteria. So just go through the site and it's going to be very easy. It's one of the easiest applications anyways I've ever done, because even for me, this was my first application, and yeah, I've applied to so many US schools before, but yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we know what we are ought to do, right? Let's just go on to the chat box and thank you. The emojis, let's show our appreciation to the speaker. She has said a lot, a whole lot. I mean, the information, is anyone feeling bored at all? You guys feeling bored? Because yeah, I'm not feeling bored. Although at the start, before the program, I was feeling tired. Okay, I want to sleep, but trust me, my eyes are wide open now because it's so interesting. It's a summary, right? Because this kind of talks usually takes a longer time, but it's a summary, and she's really explained it very well. I mean, it's not easy. Scholars, it's not easy to be a scholar. All right, so let's just show our appreciation. Can clap, ask our questions. I've been sharing links to you guys on the chat box. If you haven't been checking it, try to check. So those links are links that either the speaker linked to, or the question and answer links. And you guys have been asking questions, amazing, interesting questions, which I can't wait to our speakers to start giving us answers to it. But however, keep the questions coming. We are going to be going over to the last speaker before we move on to the question and answer segment. And this guy is actually going to be talking to us about still on scholarship. But so far, we've heard from Erasmus-Mundus, we've heard from Mastercard. Now it's time for us to hear from a completely different a scholarship scheme. Can we have the last speaker now? And he goes by the name Mr. Israel Ayomide. Thank you for being present, Israel.
All right, thank you, Aisha. And thank you, everyone. I will stand on the existing protocol while I make my presentation. So also I want to appreciate Cyber. You guys have done very good job. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Since I'm sharing my screen, so now I'll be talking about our Commonwealth scholarship, and then we've heard about Erasmus, we've heard about Mastercard. Now Commonwealth, just like the two speakers have rightly mentioned, each of these scholarship schemes have their specialization, and one of the main reasons for this program is for you to be able to identify which one fits your profile. So majorly there is a profile that fits Commonwealth that will necessarily not get you Mastercard, and there is a profile that fits Mastercard that will not necessarily get you Commonwealth. So that is exactly what I'm going to be taking us through now. Can we see my screen? Is it displaying?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, I can see it's still loading. So now, where the presentation comes up, I will. Commonwealth scholarship is arguably the oldest scholarship opportunity available to Nigerians and other Commonwealth countries. I think Commonwealth scholarship is as old as Nigeria itself. Commonwealth Scholarship Commission was inaugurated in the year 1960. That means for 62 years running, Commonwealth Scholarship has been conducting series of sorry, currently I was in another. Okay, so that means for over 62 years, Commonwealth Scholarship has been conducting scholarship opportunities for 56 countries of the Commonwealth nations. So it has so far over 30,000 beneficiaries. So that means if you get Commonwealth scholarship tomorrow, you'll be part of the 30,000 awardees and beneficiaries of Commonwealth scholarships. So far, you could see that is a very prestigious opportunity. And the fact that you have a lot of beneficiaries, both old, young, around, that put you through that, you could go through their profile. And if you win and you see a particular profile that fits your area of interest, you could follow up with person. And the scholarship is of the United Kingdom, Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office. Then it has 6 development teams. So by the time you are applying, or by the time you are considering applying for Commonwealth scholarship, you have to be able to identify your area of interest or your area of specialization, the part of the teams that falls into to categorize your interest according to the themes. Then we currently have 7 programs running under the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. We have programs ranging from a master scholarship to fellowships and to PhD scholarship. And then one other interesting thing about this, every scholarship opportunity have their, should I say, uniqueness. So for Commonwealth, the uniqueness is you could get sponsorship up to PhD level. In fact, I'm not speaking for the commission anyway, but I think they have a preference for their master scholars to get PhD sponsorship. So I've seen a lot of people that were Mastercard scholarship at the master's level, and they also got PhD funding. So that's one of the uniqueness. And another uniqueness is that even after your scholarship, you decide to work in a non-governmental organization, you decide to start doing a community development project, you have grants. There's alumni community engagement fund, and there's development grant. So they have grant and funding available for you. Let's say you are in public health and you are focused on maybe public toilet or so, and you think there's a community you want to build public toilet for, you have funds available. You apply, it's an annual program, you apply and they give you funding. Another thing is their strong alumni body. Of course, I told you we have over 30,000 beneficiaries so far. So there's a strong alumni body. There's even a group or a recognized group for each country. For Nigeria, we have the Commonwealth Alumni Group for Nigeria that consists of even ministers, very experienced people that have won 1980. So then we have regular seminars and webinars. So in fact, there's a monthly seminar, webinars, you can use it to expand your knowledge, improve your professional life. Also, displayed on the screen are some of the pictures. From the top left corner, we have the picture with the Nigerian Commission. This meeting was yesterday, where the Commonwealth alumni for Nigeria visited the minister. Then we have some other pictures there, like this private air care in Nigeria is one of the monthly webinar. We call it Development in Action webinar. Then we have Commonwealth Foundation grants. So these are grants for all Commonwealth alumni, whatever you are doing and you need funding. Then this last part is one of the fundings that was for one of the alumni doing a school project or so. And then these are the 6 themes for Commonwealth Scholarship. We have the science and technology for development. We have the strengthening health systems and capacity. We have the promoting global prosperity, strengthening global peace, security, and governance, strengthening resilience and response to crisis, access, inclusion, and opportunity. Now, whatever the thing you are doing, whatever you study, whatever your passion is, must definitely fall among these 6 development themes. So, and from this analysis, you could see so far, we have more people in the strengthening health. That means we have more of health practitioners getting the scholarship. In fact, when you go on LinkedIn, when you go on any social media, you see more people in this is public health. The next one is science and technology, and so on and so forth. Let's say, for example, you are into climate change. So climate change could fall in strengthening resilience and response to crisis. You are into education for the less privileged. That could fall under access, inclusion, and opportunity. So you are into maybe law, you're a lawyer, stuff like that could fall, an activist, stuff like media personnel, it could fall in this category, strengthening global peace, security, and governance. And then what are the application procedure for Commonwealth? When Adiza was talking, she mentioned the procedure for Mastercard. The procedure for Mastercard is almost the same as Commonwealth, because the schools do their recruitment. After recruitment, they send the list to Commonwealth, which will then be verified before you are sent your letter of award. So majorly, the requirements are requirements by the schools. So that means the school must give you admission before the school must approve your scholarship before you can be given the scholarship. And then, unlike Erasmus, you must apply for admission separately and apply for the scholarship separately. So that's how it works for Commonwealth. And then the first thing you need to do is to gather relevant information. And I've come to realize that this aspect is, I think, one of the most stressful parts for scholarship seekers. Maybe it's stressful to gather information, or people can't read much, but it's actually a task on its own, a strenuous task, gathering relevant information. While I was applying for Commonwealth scholarship, I had a window on my browsers, both on my phone and my system, windows containing more than 20 tabs on only Commonwealth. Everything I could gather on Commonwealth, I browsed through the website. Everybody that won Commonwealth scholarship that has a profile on LinkedIn, I knew them. The reason is, when you are looking for a scholarship, in fact, I think that's one of the best tactics when you are looking for a scholarship. When you have in mind that I want to apply for this scholarship, just go on LinkedIn, type the keyword, the scholarship. Probably you can add the school. So when you do it, check all the results, people that it's brought. Compare. You might not necessarily even message them. Compare their profile. Compare it to yours. By that sincere comparison, you will be able to see, do you fit into the profile of who deserves the scholarship? Do you think you have the edge? Compare what they've done, what they are doing, and stuff like that. So you need to gather relevant information. Mr. Cybram to mention, then you have to prepare a relevant document, of course, as recommended by your schools. You would have known the documents you need to write your essays and personal statements. So one disadvantage of Commonwealth is Commonwealth has the highest number of essays among all scholarship schemes that I know of. So there are two types of two categories of essay. There's a general essay and there's a scholarship specific essay. Like I said, we have different categories under Commonwealth scholarship. Under the general essays, you write 9 essays of 2,400 words. So you can see now that scholarship, Commonwealth is not something you can just sit down on your bed and apply for. In fact, applying for a scholarship or writing an award-winning essay for any scholarship application is a full-time job on its own. And I can tell you that you spend nothing less than 2 weeks, like full 2 weeks on writing the essay, rewriting, even before you go to reviewing it. So write your essays. Of course, you need essays for your application. Review your essays and personal statements. Then standardize your CV. Cyberarm has talked about CV standardization earlier, although there's no requirement for anyway, but just make sure your CV is standardized. And you need a reference for this. You need 2 references, actually, 2 references. And let me state this. The major evaluation you could perform on yourself to know if you deserve Commonwealth scholarship, or should I say, the major thing they use to pick their beneficiaries are first academic qualification, and they don't accept less than 2:1, as far as I know. Commonwealth does not accept less than 2:1. I know there are some other scholarship applications that accept less than 2:1. Commonwealth does not accept less than 2:1, and you are required to have work experience. Now, your work experience might not necessarily be a full-time job. It might be a volunteering role. And the reason is you don't get a clear picture into your career until you work. The school, the classroom learning, they are not enough to give you the clear picture you need to make a sound career decision. So you need to have worked, you need to have the work experience, and you need to have a track. They are very big on leadership too. Very, very big on leadership. You need, in fact, there is a 500-word essay dedicated to you narrating your leadership experience. So, and just like it has been mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be maybe political leadership or stuff. It could just be a time you worked in a team and you were delegated a responsibility and carried out the responsibility judiciously. So it doesn't have to be like a big. In fact, I used to say in university, I spent 4 years doing politics. So I rose to become the faculty president, and I've never used that in any of my scholarship application because it has never been relevant. So, but I believe I've done some other things that were more relevant. Then you need to prepare for your, reach out to your referees, tell them beforehand, and then write an impressive reference for you. Most times when you reach out to your referees, they may require you to write it yourself. So what I used to do is I used to write it myself. I write, keep it, then reach out to them, and then suggest to them that if you don't have time, I have something I can send to you, just edit it for me and stuff like that. And of course, you have to be very used to them. Then prepare for your interview. So you will be subjected to an interview, which will also be conducted by the school. So when the application is successful, you will transfer to the interview level. So it is after the interview level you get the response to your application. Then your essays, I was hoping to speak on the structure of the essay, like to even show us how the essay looks like. I think, let me quickly, I think I've run out of time, but let me quickly do this, show us what the essay, Commonwealth essay looks like. Tell me, please. Okay. Okay, can we see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, there are general part of the essay where you write 9 essays. So the first one is how your proposed study relates to 1, development issues at global level and stuff. The second one is how you intend to apply your new skills and qualifications when you return them. And let me mention also, for Commonwealth scholarship, it is compulsory for you to come back to your country, because that's the essence of investing such huge amount of money on you. So it is important, it is compulsory you come back to your country. Then what you expect to change in development times, how the impact of your work will be measured, objectives during the award, career plans in the 5 years following the award, long-term career plans, personal statements, and volunteering and leadership experience. And you could see I've attached the word count to each part of the essays. If you sum all these things together, you'll be writing 2,400 essays. I don't know, for some of us, we may not really understand what 2,400 essays look like. For this one, let me do something. Let me show us what this one could mean. Let's say we are writing this. Okay, this is what a 200 words could look like. Something like this. Yes, this is what a 200 words could look like. I just generated some random words to show us. By the time you do this, it will be these 2 pages that would have extended to almost 7 or 8 pages. So that means if you are open to apply for Commonwealth scholarship, you need to start early. You know what the essays are, so you could start preparing. You don't have to wait till there is the opening start. So you need to start preparing. You know what the essays are, start writing them, start gathering your experiences together. Then the 3 other ones are specific to whatever you're applying for. Contact with proposed universities, depending on the type you're applying for. Study outline and detailed proposal of your study. Then this is what the website looks like. I'm coming. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Hello, can we? Okay, so this is what the website looks like. You have a master's scholarship here. You have shared masters. Shared masters means the cost of your study is shared between Commonwealth Scholarship Commission and your host school. Then this first one now, you can't apply yourself. You have to apply through their partners. For Nigeria, the partner is Federal Scholarship Board. That means there was sometimes back there was announcements on scholarship opening by the federal government. This is the one they're talking about. Then shared master's scholarship, you can apply your own. Just apply to the school and you get it. You have the distance learning. You have the split site PhD scholarship. You have the professional fellowships, and you have the PhD scholarships also. And you have the high income PhD scholarship. This one is for people from high income countries, unlike these other ones that they consider your country and where you are from. These ones, they are specifically focused on maybe people from the US, the UK, and stuff like that. And then let me also mention, if you get Commonwealth scholarship and you are going with independent, let's say your wife and kid, they have a provision for them too. They have allowances for your wife and your kid if you get the scholarship. Then supporting documents, reference letters, transcripts, your degree certificate, everything that has been mentioned earlier. So the major requirement, as I mentioned, good academic qualification, work experience, verifiable leadership record, indigene of a Commonwealth nation. We have 56 Commonwealth nations. Then other requirements as will be stated. So thank you very much. That will be the end of my presentation.
Wow. Thank you very much. It's so detailed, and I mean, I'm so inspired already. I want to start applying immediately, starting from tonight. Is any other person excited about this? Please just try and go to the comment section so you show your appreciation. We can thank the speakers. You can clap, put emojis, and all of that. It's an amazing time we've had so far this evening. And before we say goodbye, we need to do the important thing, right? That thing we've all been waiting for, question and answers. The questions have been coming in, and those questions have been amazing, interesting, detailed. I'm not sure we can take everything, but we're just going to take them though, and I'm going to be reading out those questions to everyone. So I'm going to be starting with the questions that are directed to Miss Hadiza Yusuf, because she needs to leave on time for another appointment. So starting with this particular question from, I don't have to say who the question is from, but this person is asking if there's a CGPA limit, like if there's a limit in CGPA. Should I say the questions one after the other, or you want me to say all the questions and you reply? Which one works well with you, Ms. Adiza? Is Ms. Adiza on the call? Hello? Can any other person hear me? So let me just be clear that it's not just from my end.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. She's on the call.
All right. So probably she's not, I don't know. Ms. Aditya, can you please unmute yourself? So while we're still trying to wait for her, let me just try and direct, okay.
Oh, so sorry. I had another call I had to attend. Sorry, can the person come again with the question? I didn't hear.
Okay, so the question is on the CGPA limit.
Okay, yeah. Mastercard, depending on the university, just like I told you, there are no CGPA limits. For my school, you don't have to have any 2221 are eligible to apply. But the truth is that they look deep into your academic activities and see if you got a 2-2, why did you even get a 2-2? You understand? Your essay, your activities has to explain that, because getting a 2-2 or getting a 2-2 is not does not really show does not really show an academically serious person. I'm not saying that you as a 2-2 student you're not academically serious, but it depends on how your activities was like while you were in school. Maybe you were so much engaged in something so serious, you understand? And those things are also part of the things they are looking out for. Then it's a goal, but there are no CGPA limits. Thank you. I don't know if I answered the question.
Thank you. Yes. So there's another question directed to you, and this person is asking, do Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program accept recommendation letter from a school you're teaching, or is it compulsory you must come from a secondary school teacher? So it looks like it's a question of recommendation letter coming from a secondary school teacher. And this same person is also asking if they allow a certificate that you write your name on it. So that's how the phrase comes.
Okay. For the first question, recommendation letters. I would advise that if you're going to pick a recommender or a referee, pick from someone that maybe you recently work with that knows you very well. Secondary school might be a long time, though, depending on which level you are applying to. Applying to for a master's degree and picking your secondary school teacher might not really make so much sense, in the sense that you have gone through 5 years of undergraduate studies. You might not have had any contact with your teacher after that. And so many things happen within those 4-5 years in school. So it's preferable if you have somebody that is within your 2-3 years of experience. An undergraduate lecturer, somebody you're related with, or even your workplace, if you're working or you volunteer somewhere, like Abraham told us, it was his supervisor, or was it the head of the lab that wrote a recommendation for him. So it's advised that you get someone that is not like far away, somebody that can speak of your recent experience. That's for the first question. The second question, I didn't really get it clearly. When you say certificates where your name is written, I don't know what that means.
So probably the person will have to react that question. For either way, let's move on to the next question. So this person says, until now, I've always used my NECO results with C grades in 5 basic subject requirements, and I'm HND graduate with an upper credit. Would I be able to secure a master's scholarship?
Okay, is that question for me? Okay, anyways. HND graduates, yeah, it depends again on the requirements of the school. That's one thing you need to check out for. There are so many schools there. You need to go check the requirements. Some universities accept that, some might not. Yeah, I know US University are so serious about all this, the kind of school you went to and all that, but you need to know what's the requirement of the school. And like I said during my presentation, sometimes when they give their requirements, it's not always rigid. You can contact the admission and inquire these things, send them an email. I saw this, I am a this, and I'm thinking of applying. I want to ask this. Ask your question. They are willing and always ready to respond to you. So that's the response I can give to that question.
All right. So last question.
Can I chip in something there? Sorry, I just want to chip in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's a very good question because so many people are trapped, if I may use that word correctly, in this context, that they have HND and they don't know if they can access international scholarships and opportunity. And my answer will be yes, you can really do that. Because it depends on what you've done after the HND. I mean, you end the HND, yes, but what have you done with it? Probably after the HND, you've gone for other trainings, you've done maybe some other top-up whatever certification or anything. You have research experience. You have publications, especially if you're in sciences, and you've published paper and articles, and you've done things like exactly how have you been able to demonstrate your passion for the field? How have you been able to show that you are really resourceful in your area of research? I mean, not just the certificate, because this is one thing with Nigerians, or with we Nigerians, we really believe that the certificate is the end of everything. But no, don't forget that there are some universities, or in some part of the world, even polytechnics and university are on the same platform. Although I know it's different in Nigeria. What I'm trying to say is, after your HND, what have you done? Have you tried to improve yourself? Have you tried to improve your writing skills? Are you sure you can write to convince a professor to hire you as a student for a PhD? I mean, these are the things we need to, you or the person needs to look at and then be able to present himself as a wholesome candidate. So I believe with good result from your HND, just like Adiza said the other time, writing the standardized exam, they are very important. I mean, you can't do without them, especially if you are in engineering departments. You need to write the GRE if you are going to the US. And I am saying this because I have read about scholars on LinkedIn who finished with HND and got fully funded scholarship in the US, and of course also in the Erasmus program and some other scholarship. So HND is not a barrier. The barrier is you yourself. What have you done with the HND certificate that you have? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the clarification. So nothing is a barrier for you applying for any scholarship. All right, so the last one for Miss Adiza before we free you for now. So this question is from the chat, and the person is asking if there is a clause of returning back to home country, and also can you apply before fully graduating? So that question is for Miss Adiza.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the person that asked that question, because that was supposed to be in my presentation and I totally forgot. Yeah, 500 level student, 400 level student, you're a final year student, please, you can apply. As far as you know that you're going to graduate before the semester for that school you're applying is starting. Yeah, for my school, they accept application from 500 level. Some of my mates just graduated when we started. In fact, we were doing orientation when some went for their graduation. Some still were writing exams during our orientation period. So though it depends on the country you are in, I don't think they will accept when you're not graduated and the semester is resuming from another country. So most of them that so were in such situations were Rwandans. What I mean is that those that did not finish even while we started. So if you're sure that you're going to graduate before the academic season starts, please apply. 500 level students are applying. Then secondly, there is no clause that you must come back to your country. Yeah, that clause is not there. As far as you're doing, you're bringing about that transformation thing. In fact, you don't even need to finish schooling before you start effecting those change they need. That was why I was telling you that while you are a scholar, as a scholar, you start doing projects in African context. You get it? So it's compulsory, it's mandatory for every scholar. Where you are, the location where you are, you have to start effecting changes. Yeah, so there's no clause of you having to come back to your country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Teaser. I mean, we've heard from her already. So just in case you'd like to reach her after this webinar, so I don't know if you can try to drop your account, like your LinkedIn profile or so the audience can try to get in touch with you for further mentorship. All right, so now this next question is directed to Mr. Abraham, and this person is asking on the IELTS. So the question says, please, is there any guidance on how to write IELTS, and can undergraduates write the English proficiency exams while still in school? I don't know if Mr. Abraham is on the call to answer that question.
Okay, yeah, so I'm here and I'm happy to share my opinion about this. So personally, I believe every exam has a strategy. Like even the most difficult exam, every exam has a strategy. And when I wrote my IELTS back then, I mean, there was a strategy I used, but I think the whole IELTS has been revamped according to people that recently wrote this and the feedback some of them gave me. So I think things might have changed. But then you want to go to the internet, to the YouTube, and you want to search like strategies or how to prepare for IELTS. I mean, there are good channels. I remember a lady that I used her channel to prepare for my IELTS, but I can't like figure out her name or the channel again. But I know I would try, but I can't really remember the name of the channel again. But what I'm trying to say is there are strategies for every exam. You just need to like look for the right information, and you can get this on YouTube. I mean, that's one of the most reliable source. Then apart from that, the IELTS themselves, they have a kind of brochure or whatever it is in which you can go there, and you can also see kind of you can simulate the exams for you to be able to know the kind of how the exam is going to look like. But for preparation, they have documents as well, some textbooks or whatever it is that you can use to prepare. Although I have a Google Drive that contains materials that you can use to prepare, but like I said, they are not recent ones, so I wouldn't bet on them that they are the best materials for you to practice. So I think a simple Google search should be able to like guide you, especially on YouTube. You should be able to guide you if by, let's say, channels by those who have authority. Like when I mean authority, those who are actually in academics and they are training students on how to write this exam. Definitely their channel is going to be very useful for you. And if you are to write it as an undergraduate, I would say if you're in your 500 level, yeah, I will advise you to write it if you're in your 500 or in your final year, as the case may be, for those who are in a 4 years program. But if you are in 300 level, I don't really think it's advisable because it expires within 2 years. So if it's going to expire in 2 years, there's no need of you writing it, let's say when you're in lower level. But when you're in your final year, yes, you can really try to write it. And that means another thing is going to motivate you, because you know this thing is expiring in 2 years and you don't want to waste your money because it is really, really expensive. So it's going to also motivate you to put in lots of effort into it so that your money is not going to go into the drain. So this is what I can say about that.
Okay, Aisha, can I briefly talk about
yes,
okay, then I think IELTS is not that difficult. I wrote mine this March. And then, like I always, people don't believe, I said I prepared within 3 days and I had 7.5. So it's very easy. Most of the things I used were just YouTube channels. Just go on YouTube, check YouTube channels. There are a lot of resources there for you to practice. And also on the Telegram and WhatsApp group, I will share some this thing. I'll share a link to a Google Drive files, one of the files I used to practice, and some YouTube channels that I used to practice. I will share it on the WhatsApp and Telegram channel.
All right. Thank you very much, Israel, for that. So if in case if you're not on the platform, I think we have a WhatsApp group and probably Telegram. We are going to keep you guys informed with latest materials via email for those who are not on those platforms. Right. So another question that was directed to Mr. Abraham, although Israel could also try to come in here. It's the difference between SOP and motivation letter. What's the difference between SOP and motivation letter?
Okay. So to answer the question, I would say when applying for grad school, I mean, you really need to, because they don't know you and they want to know you. So it's like you trying to introduce yourself to the admission committee. But then when you are introducing yourself to the admission committee, you can come from different perspective. For example, the other time I said Erasmus-Mundus is mostly research-based. And why Scholar Adiza made us to understand that for Mastercard, students need financial struggle and everything comes into play. I mean, it's all part of the criteria. So because of this, when you are writing, there's a way you need to write to be able to strike a balance when you are telling your story. So for the motivation letter, okay, let me start with the SOP. Your SOP is going to be majorly focused on a kind of, let's say, more of your background, who you are, and your academic achievement. You made a first class, the struggles you've overcome to be who you are today. How did you get to where you are today? Like, that's just all what SOP is going to focus about, like the award you've won before and just your academic excellence. That's what you are going to focus it on. But when you are writing your motivation letter, it's like, what's the purpose of applying? What do you want to do in future? So if you get this degree, what next? Like, it's like you mapping out a kind of future for yourself. Like, your SOP looks back at your history, but your motivation letter and your personal statement in this context looks forward. So they try to guide you into how do you want to raise a community? What do you want to do? How do you want to pass the knowledge you gain from the master's program or the PhD? How do you want to pass it across to the community? And how do you want to effect the change that you think you are capable of initiating in your community? How do you want to go about it? These are the motivation. Just simply put it, the motivation for applying for a particular program in a particular university at a particular time. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham. And hello?
So,
Okay, thank you very much. So just like Ms. Sadiza has shared our LinkedIn profile, I think it would be very nice if you can also try to share yours so those listening can try to connect with you, because there was a question that was personally directed to you on explaining more on the research part of it. So I think that that's not something that we'll be discussing this evening because time has gone, and we still have a few more questions for Mr. Israel before we end this. So please kindly share your LinkedIn profile so we could get in touch with you privately. Now, this question is actually directed to Mr. Israel, and starting with the first one, the question says, how can I write a good and satisfactory statement of result? How to write a good and satisfactory statement of results.
I don't know what the person means by statement of result. Maybe statement of purpose. And maybe statement of purpose, I think Simon has answered that. I don't know if there's anything called statement of results. But I guess the person meant statement of purpose. So you could refer back to Mr. Cyber's response.
All right. So the next one is asking how to write a good and reality community project essay.
Well, this response to is not clear, but I want to believe the person knows how to probably frame his community projects in the essay. I think it should just be original. Like you should just be original, know how to put proper English into use. And then someone said something one day. He said, when you are writing your scholarship essay, do not look at perfection of it. Don't look at maybe the way normal writers write, the way Wole Soyinka writes. Don't look at it like that. The way it comes to your head, just put it down. Continue to put it down like that. Anyhow it comes, put it down. As time goes on, you continue to be able to put them together properly. Also, there are some online resources you could use to make your writing flow very well. You could use Grammarly, you could use keyboards. So when you write, just put them there. They will help you paraphrase and make it make meaning. So I think that's one of the ways to go by writing your essays.
Amazing. Is there any application fee attached to the application process?
No, there's no application fee for all the categories of Commonwealth scholarship schemes.
All right. And lastly, before we end the webinar, someone is asking if he or she could defer the current admission after getting any scholarship.
No, you can't defer an admission. So you must start and end at the specified time.
Amazing, awesome, Beth. So I think this has actually come to the end of this program, and it's amazing how we're able to meet up to time. This is 7 p.m. sharp Nigerian time, and to those who are not in Nigeria, it's probably 8 or so, depending on your time duration. Thank you very much to everyone who has been on this call. It's been amazing. We had over 300 participants and we've learned a lot. Our books are probably full. So let us show our appreciation then in the comment section. Thank you again to our speakers. Thank you very much for sharing these expos with us, and we would gladly keep them and make sure we go back to them in our notebook, and definitely get in touch with you personally for further clarifications and guidelines on a successful scholarship. So I wish everyone who is applying for a scholarship a very, very successful process, right? And you have these people, you have these scholars, our speakers to guide you on it. So thank you very much and have an amazing evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night and bye from my end.